Hi everyone. Hopefully that was a long enough break for you to go and stretch your legs, look away from the screen and stuff. Is my sound working all right? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yep, sounds good.
Awesome. So yeah, we're now gonna hear from our final speaker of today, Emma. She's hopefully going to give you a bit of a flavour of what it's like for a young person to enter a green job. So Emma graduated in 2020 in history from Glasgow University. She currently lives in Edinburgh and she's been working for over a year and a half in the financial services industry. So Emma's really passionate about sustainability, making a difference to climate change. And in her spare time, she also works with Young Scot and YouthLink and other young people as part of Scotland's Young People's Forest panel. So yeah, thank you for being here today, Emma. And yeah, go ahead.
Thanks so much, Freya, and hi everyone. I hope you're all well and thank you for having me along today. So as Freya mentioned, I've actually come along today to speak a bit about what I do, how my job relates to sort of green employability. So first things first, my name is Emma Bryden and I graduated from university with a history degree during the pandemic. And sort of like a lot of people, I think during that time, I was a bit unsure of my options, what was available to me, and sort of plans that I'd made previously in terms of jobs kind of fell through, which was a bit of a shame. And to be honest, I kind of remember it as, you know, a time where I was just writing job application after job application. And eventually I sort of took a step back and decided to look into sort of what I was really interested in, which was sustainability. As Freya again mentioned, in my spare time, I volunteer with YouthLink and Young Scot as part of the Young People's Forest panel. And actually in time, I was given a fantastic opportunity to do some work experience, which sort of was looking into sustainable investing with a finance company who sort of work in the asset management and life and pension space. I'm really lucky enough for me, this turned into a job. So hopefully that just shows the other routes you can go down as well when you're trying to find a space to work. So I must say, I do feel like a bit of a fluke compared to some of the other people that I've spoken today, some of the other amazing things that we've heard. I'm hoping that I can bring the viewpoint that a job is what you make it and that you can have a green job in any sector. Sort of in my view, it's really, really important that big businesses start to tackle sort of this challenge head on, and we should really be prioritising bringing green thinking into sort of all different industries. So yeah, as mentioned, I work in sort of the pension and investments industry, and actually this is an industry that I would consider as being quite far behind when it comes to sustainable investing or sustainability in general. But there has been a big shift recently, and now lots of financial companies, you may be aware of this, but are looking into sustainable investing. And I actually want to highlight this for the section of my presentation today, because it shows you how businesses can make a difference to the environment without being sort of traditionally green. So to start with, I'm just going to sort of take it back to the basics, because I know we have people on the call from all areas. So I'm going to give you a flavour of exactly what investing is. And by definition, it's putting money or capital into different financial schemes, shares, property, commercial ventures, with the expectation of achieving a profit. And investments do come in all shapes and sizes. You know, this could be your pension, and this could be your mortgage, and this could just be a general investment maybe you've taken out. And sustainable investing is sort of a subset of this, and it's known by many different names. You may recognise it as like responsible investing, ethical investing, ESG investing. But essentially what it boils down to is a type of investment that's aim is to not just make money, but to do no harm to the environment or to like social causes, and in some cases actually do good. So for context, sort of tobacco companies, arms dealers, oil and gas companies make up sort of huge swathes of the number of companies you invest in. And traditionally, these companies have always been really, really profitable. But with the rise of sustainability and sort of consumer conscious decision making, we are moving away from that idea that bad companies are those sort of money makers, and we're thinking in sustainable terms. So that kind of idea of sustainable, it's more likely to be around longer. So if you're thinking in terms of long-term investments, it kind of makes sense to put your money there. So we are seeing this idea that sustainable businesses are likely to be the solutions of tomorrow, and therefore should be sort of profitable to invest in. So these companies could include things like renewable energy companies, companies with great employee diversity, and satisfaction, or just generally companies that deliver a meaningful and measurable positive impact, sort of when they're compared against the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And actually, one of the most impactful things you can do for the environment is to invest your money sustainably. There's sort of a piece of data by Make My Money Matter campaign, which says that sustainable investing is around 27 times more impactful than swapping to a plant-based diet or stopping flying combined, which is really, really important. And it really makes sense when you think about it. The idea is that we're mobilizing the money in the world to make a positive impact, and we're sort of cutting off funds to things which are not supporting our world. And just in terms of how this affects young people, sort of as we've been talking about throughout this, millennials are now reaching the point where they've got savings to invest, in Gen Zs or entering the workforce. And to put this into perspective, millennials hold 1.4 trillion in purchasing power, and together with Gen Zs, they're expected to eventually receive over 30 trillion in assets from baby boomer parents and grandparents. Now, this is the biggest asset transfer we've ever seen. And if it's invested in sustainable companies, the positive impacts will be humongous. And as I said, more information can be found on this on the Make My Money Matter website. And I know that lots of what I'm sort of referring to today may not be relevant, but I think this ethos carries through to other industries, as often what you spend is a reflection of what you believe. So where do I come in? I actually work in a client insights and strategy team within the pensions and investments company, and I do a range of different things. So I make it my mission to surround myself with sort of sustainable projects, and luckily I'm in a role which really supported by that. And when I joined, that was the focus of my job. I was looking at networking with different businesses and individuals who specialise in either social or environmental issues, to provide mentorship to fund managers. And essentially, these are the people that are choosing what goes in an investment. So as you can imagine, if they're putting together a sustainable fund, they need a bit of help. We should leave it to the experts to decide what's actually going to help the environment and what's actually going to help society. And this is something that my team actually continues to do. As I say, it allows the people who put those funds together to hear from the experts and make sure that they're doing the right thing. And at the moment, my job actually includes lots of research into sustainability, and I have been looking recently how to position sustainable investing to different types of customers. As you can imagine, for a lot of people, this is a really big change. They're just hearing about, for the first time, that the money they've been investing for years and years and years could have been going into sort of arms companies, tobacco companies. So it has to be positioned in the right way, because although we think it is really important, and this is people's livelihoods that we're talking about, so we need to make sure we bring them on a journey and make sure they understand why this is important too. So those are the kind of things I look at. And as was said in some of the previous presentations, you know, I did a history degree. I didn't look into sustainability beyond what I did on a personal level before I got this job. But you learn while you're doing things, and you meet loads of fantastic people who are always really kind and willing to help you. So I hope this has given you sort of an appreciation for what sort of things are out there that you might not think about in the first term when you hear sort of green employability or green jobs. But there's loads and loads of different industries that have big issues like this that we are trying to tackle and could help make a difference to the climate crisis. So just, you know, remember that when you're speaking to people, or when you're looking at what you maybe want to do, that there are lots of different options, and you can make a difference wherever you go. Thanks so much.
Great, thanks so much, Emma. Yeah, it's really great to hear about your positive experience into the green employability sector as well. That's really refreshing. And also just how the finance sector and other industries who you might not traditionally think of as playing a part in green employability, how they can support young people into green jobs and ultimately support Scotland in reaching net zero.